Hello, my name's Polly for those of you that don't know me, and I'm going to teach a fairly short class today, focusing on mainly standing work, a little bit of sitting work, stretch, mobilisation, bit of strength work. Nice and short, simple, you don't need to go up and down from a mat. Hopefully really easy to do at home. So here we go, welcome. So we're going to start with the feet in parallel position, hips width distance apart. I'd like you to think about your foot pressures. Think about what we call the tripods of the feet. So that's your first and your fifth metatarsal head, centre of your heels. So the met heads are rather like the knuckles of your toes. Okay, so you want to distribute the weight nice and evenly and lengthen up. Just take a moment to think about your pelvis. So your pubic bone is dropping straight down. So the front line is lengthened. So no tucking under, no gripping of the buttocks. Just think about your sit bones widening. Shoulders are broad and you find the length through your spine. We're going to start with breath. So I'm going to ask you to breathe into your belly, into your pelvis. And exhale. Breathe into the pelvis and up the front of your spine with a long exhalation. Same thing. You're going to breathe up the front of your spine. You're going to breathe into your back space behind the heart between the shoulder blades. Long exhalation. And we're going to roll the shoulders up and back, taking your time to keep the shoulders nice and broad. Into your singles, one shoulder and the other shoulder, adding some rotation through your spine. Soft knees. So we're looking for omnidirectional, multi-directional movement to keep all of the tissues of the body nicely hydrated. We're going to stretch the arms up on the inhale. Exhale, press the arms all the way down. And again, breathing in, lifting the arms. Exhaling to press down. Last time, spiraling the arms outwardly. Drawing the breath up the body. Exhale, smiling those low belly muscles at the end of the breath. We're going to soften the knees. You're going to keep your pelvis in neutral for now. We're going to take the arms forwards into meshing the fingers. Either press the palms away from you or keep the hands as they are, whatever feels better, shoulders down. And then I'm going to curve my upper spine. So I'm going to look down, a little scoop of the belly. And then I'm going to breathe into the armpit space. And exhale, and then I might just tuck the tailbone under a little bit more to increase the stretch in my lower spine. Inhale and exhale. I'm going to side bend to my left, so you might find it easier to mirror me, which is not a problem, or follow my instructions for right and left. So I'm going to side bend to my left and I'm going to look underneath my right arm. Inhale, exhale, come back to center, and I'm going to side bend to my right, and I'm going to look underneath my left arm. And I'm going to come back to center, stretch the arms up to the ceiling, let the shoulders rise, and then fall. We're taking the arms all the way out to the sides, pushing through the heels of the hands for a moment, and then bring the hands to the back of your pelvis, back of your hips. Little squeeze of the elbows in towards each other, shoulders down, slight lift of the chest, and you're breathing in, breathing out. So we're stretching the shoulders, the chest area. And again, long exhalations. Good. And we're going to release the arms, and you're going to soften your knees slightly, and you're going to look straight forwards. Keep the head, well, not the head still, but keep your focus forwards as we start to rotate. So the arms are relaxed and your pelvis is rotating. Your spine rotates, and your arms, as I said, are nice and relaxed. And you're going to keep the tripods of your feet down. So you just might feel that subtlety, the foot shapes changing as you rotate right and left. Come back to centre and straighten up. Side stretching. So I'm going to rotate my arm outwardly in the socket. Lift the arm up. Stretch over. Now I'm going to breathe into my left lung. Might be your right. And return. Take the other arm up. Stretch over. Breathing into my right lung. And release. And again. So fingertips in your mind, they're stretching away from your lower spine. The ribs fan open. And I'm going to keep the tripods of my feet down. There'll be a slight shift of weight, but minimal. And release. And then I'm going to take the arm all the way up. Now I'm going to soften my knees. And I'm just going to release into a high curve. Belly scoops. Restack. Other arm lifts. Stretch over. Release. Belly scoops. Restack. One more each way. And release. So again, just getting everything moving, all those tissues of the body sliding and gliding to hydrate, lengthening all the way up. Good. Taking the arms just out to the side slightly, fingers together. On the inhalation, we're going to rotate the arms outwardly. So hands all the way to the shoulder joint, and the sternum should just float up slightly, head stays still. And as you exhale, we're going to spiral the arms in and the sternum drops a little bit, head stays still. Inhaling and exhaling. Last one. And release. Good. Just circle your hands around. And then the other way. So we're just mobilizing the wrists. And you're going to open and close the hands quite dynamically. Really stretch out as much as you can. Good. So you'll feel the muscles of your forearms working. And release. We're going to take it into a calf stretch. So I've got my right leg back, my left leg forwards. Again, tripods of your feet to help you balance is key. Back leg really nice and straight, center. Inhale, stretch the arms up, fingertips from your hip crests. And then we open the arms out wide. One more. And we're going to stretch the fingertips away from the sternum. We're going to switch. Tripods of your feet, back leg straight, center. And again. And if you're going to break this down, and you might just do some of these exercises, some of these stretches in your own time, of course you can increase the number of repetitions. So you do what feels right for you. And release. Okay, we're going to do a little bit of upper body work. So I'm going to do some chest presses and some tricep presses. Using a wall is ideal. I'm going to use my mantelpiece. Things to think about, you're going to maintain your alignment throughout. So watch so you don't lead with your hips or leave your pelvis behind. You're keeping your shoulders down so the back of armpit muscles work to stabilize your shoulders. So the shoulders stay down and they stay wide. So we're going to do 8 of these. Of course, again, at home you could do more or less or build up to 2 sets, 3 sets, whatever works for you. So I'm going to turn. I'm going to think about my standing alignment. Take my hands wide, shoulders down, center, inhale to bend, exhale to push away. Inhale to bend, exhale to push away. Number 3. And 4. I'm breathing into the armpit space. 5. I'm keeping my alignment heel through to the crown of the head, keeping my shoulders down, and push back. It's kind of fun to try single arm as well, but only if you feel really stable in your shoulders, maybe something to progress to in time. It also involves rotation control, maybe an exercise for next time. Tricep presses, so hands are much narrower, elbows when they bend drop straight down to the floor. Again, shoulders a little bit harder, you're working your triceps now. So again, lengthen up, shoulders down, center, inhale to bend, exhale to push away. So if you find this quite easy, you would stand further back to load the arms more. And if it's quite tough, go further forwards. That'll take some of the load out. So you can work this out for yourself. Inhaling and exhaling. Now again, I've lost count because I've been talking, but let's say we've got one more to go. And release. Good. So upper body work, really simple. You don't need to get down onto the mat to do that. We're going to maybe use a chair if needs be. You're going to need either a strong resistance band, dressing gown cord, or a scarf. You may not need them, but this is for a stretch in our quadricep stretch. So you can use the chair if you struggle with your balance a little bit. And you can use this if you need to. So I'm going to take the band, double it over, pop it around the front of my ankle, take hold. I'm going to drop my knee down, keep my standing knee slightly soft, and I'm going to lengthen up. And I'm going to pull the heel towards my buttock muscle. I'm going to try and maintain a fairly neutral spine. Tripod of my standing leg. If you don't need to hold on, that's fine. Equally, you may not need to use the band at all, and you may be able to just hold your stretch here. I'm going to keep pulling my leg back. Again, with the stretches, I would say, 30, 40 seconds is about right, more or less depending on time, but try not to rush and use your breath. I'm going to hold it for a little less time today, but just know that you can increase that time when you are on your own. Same thing with the other leg, belt, band or not. Taking hold, pulling the heel back, placing the hand onto the back of your chair if you need to. Slight softness in your standing leg and lengthen. Okay, legs together. Don't have the leg out to the side. Keep pulling that heel back and elongate the spine. And again, use your breath. Breathe into the belly, up the front of your spine. And exhale. So that breath enables the tissues to relax. So don't rush. Again, you'd hold it a little bit longer than I have. Okay, we're going to do some leg work. If you struggle with your balance, you can use the chair. It's not a problem, otherwise it's freestanding. We're going to do some parallel squats. So we're going to take the feet slightly wider than our normal hips width position, so in line with the outer borders of your hips. We're going to do 10. Again, you can do more and you can increase it to 2 sets, 3 sets if you like. So we're going to start slowly by bending the knees. And as you bend your knees, you're going to check that your knees are in line with your big toe, second toe, not in, not out. Your sitting bones are wide, so your pelvis is pulling back to the wall behind you, and you stay really rooted into your heels. And as we bend the knees, the feet spread. My arms come forwards. And as I breathe out, I push away from the floor and lengthen up. Inhale and exhale. Breathing in. So my pubic bone is reaching back again. My arches drop, the arches spread, and the arches contract and lift. Inhale, exhale, keeping the spine nice and straight throughout. So the back muscles are working to maintain a neutral spine. The leg muscles are working. Keep sinking into those heels. Now, of course, I've lost count again. Talking at the same time. But I'm going to suggest that we're probably around about number 10. And then release. And then we can go wide. So we go into a wide parallel position. And I'm going to pivot on the heels and rotate out from the hips. Rooting into my tripods once again. Lengthen. Now I'm going to cue you to bend your knees and let your hips go back slightly. Okay, so we're in the lean again. Straight spine, arms out to the sides. Loading evenly through both legs. You go as low as you can, hips, knees permitting. And we push up. And we're going to check that the knees are in line with the big toe joints, they're not rolling in. And we push up. Sitting bones, get a sense that they widen as we bend. Slight narrowing as we push up. So there's a slight contraction as we push away, just don't grip. Inhale, exhale. Again, the feet are stretching and recoiling to propel you away from the floor. And you can increase your repetitions. You can add 3 sets, 2 sets, whatever works for you. Again, roughly 10. And then push all the way up. Good. Should feel that. Gets the heart rate up a little bit as well, which is nice. Coming back to parallel, I'm going to cue you to do a roll down. Now, not everybody will do roll downs, particularly if you have osteoporotic changes, osteoporosis of the upper spine around the neck. So if you don't normally do them, omit the roll down, okay? And I'm going to give you another version as well. So we would sink into the tripods of the feet again and lengthen up through the spine. Take a deep breath in. Start to roll down. Try and keep your pelvis parked into neutral for as long as you can. And if you need to bend your knees, it's not a problem if you're tight in your lower spine. Scoop the belly, pulling back towards the spine. Make sure your arms are nice and heavy and your head is heavy. Inhale. Exhale, we're going to roll back up through the spine all the way to the vertical. Shoulders released. Find the suspension pulling all the way up from the feet to the roof of the mouth. We go again. If you imagine you've got a line of elastic from the tailbone to the crown of the head and you're lifting into the elastic line as you roll down. Hold the space through the front of your body. We're not collapsing. And we're rolling back up again. Alternative, but also an exercise I would teach you anyway, so I invite everybody to do this regardless, is our hinging or our monkey. So the knees are slightly soft, softer if you've tight hamstrings. Again, maintain neutral, back muscles need to be working. Hands onto hips, shoulders back. You're going to hinge at your hips and you're going to send your pubic bone back through the legs and you're going to keep really nice and broad with those sit bones. Okay, really try not to flex. And then exhale, the back of the legs, they contract, so they work. So as we hinge forwards, the back of the legs are stretching, which feels nice. And then as we're returning, they are contracting, shortening to bring us back. And again, sit bones must stay wide. Spinal muscles work to hold the neutral, chest open. Chin slightly tucked, neck is long. So at home you might do a few more of these. Not an exciting exercise, but one that's actually hard to get right. And then release. Good. Okay. So to finish up, a little bit of seated work. So you would sit towards the front of your chair. So you're slightly tipping the pelvis forwards. There's a slight sense of that. So you're off your tailbone and you're on the front of your sit bones and we lengthen up. So I'm going to do a little bit of rotation. It's quite nice on the chair. Keeps your pelvis still, gives you a little bit more feedback than when you're in standing. Hands onto your front thighs, head stays still. We're sweeping the hands along the thighs, rotating the spine. Stay relaxed in the shoulders. Make sure you're not just sweeping the arms, but you are rotating. Again, nice hydration for those discs of the spine. Come back to center, hands onto your sternum. Again, you're keeping the head still, shoulders relaxed, and you're just rotating. Not as easy as it looks. Quite hard to keep the head completely still. So just be mindful of this. Again, you can spend more time at home. Back to center. Stretches. So hamstring stretch. I'm going to start with my left leg really straight. Dorsiflexed foot. Front of the foot towards the front of the lower leg. Push out through the heel. Sit tall. Do not flex your spine. Keep it straight. Lengthen, hinge, hand to front thigh. Now, if you're quite tight in your hamstrings, that might be enough. If you've got quite long hamstrings, you can go further. Just be mindful not to overstretch. Again, you're breathing into it. And you could hold this 30 seconds, 40 seconds plus. Don't need to hold it for so long today. Just make sure you can feel that elongation of the sit bone going back and the heel coming forwards, and make sure that this isn't happening to your back. Lengthen up, and we switch, and we sit tall, and we hinge again. Hands onto front thigh, shoulders back, sit tall, push out through that heel. And feel the stretch. If you're not feeling it, maybe it's because you're flexing your spine. That is a strong possibility. So keep lifted. Maintain a little bit of center to support you, and use the breath to allow the tissues of the body to release, to make it safe for them to release, to give. Again, you can hold it for a little bit longer than I am. Come on. This next one is a glute stretch, not advisable for everybody, so you can omit this one if necessary and do your mat-based version if you would prefer. So restriction in the hips and the knees is going to be a contributing factor as to why you may not do this. You can see I've got a dorsiflexed foot, my left foot, my hips rotating out, and I'm going to sit really tall. Okay, so I'm looking for the stretch in that left buttock. Again, this might be enough for you, or you might lean into it more. Hold and breathe. Maybe press down a little bit, maybe pull up a little bit. And again, if you were doing this on the floor, it's a very similar thing. You would reach through for the leg and pull it towards you, or you might cross the legs over with no gap between and pull the legs towards you lying on your back. So that is another version for you should you need it. We're going to do the same on the other side. Rotate the leg out, sit nice and tall, shoulders down, dorsiflexed foot, support the knee, sit tall, hinge. Breathe into your stretch, breathe into your pelvis. Sounds strange, but it works. And really elongate the breath. So it's a full breath, but it's not forced. And you would hold it for a little bit longer than we're going to today. You can also do your seated side bends here if you want to. Any of the things that we did right at the start, your cat stretch, any kind of rotation is really nice to do sitting on a chair, because it just allows you to keep your pelvis nice and still. Much harder to cheat, if you like. So coming up to standing. To finish up, I'm going to take the chair, bit of a stretch. Again, hamstrings. I might soften my knees slightly, hinge forwards and hold on to the back of the chair. If you've got lots of range, you can straighten the legs more and you can go lower, but that requires range in your shoulders. And if not, you come up a little higher and you keep your knees softer. Arm bones are spiraling outwardly in their joints, in their sockets. Again, nice straight spine, and you can just breathe into your stretch. Sit bones pull back, fingertips reach forwards in opposition, and holding it for as long as you like. We can also take it into a little twist, so I might just take the right hand across and just pull myself into a small rotation. That can feel quite nice. Come back to center. Also, we can think cat-dog. So the exercise you would normally do in 4-point. You can scoop the belly, tuck the tailbone under, and just allow the head to release, and I'm curving my spine. And then on my inhale, I'm going to tip my pelvis forwards and pull my sternum forwards, and I can actually try and come up into a little bit of an extension. So I've got to be able to open the front of my body and work the muscles of the upper back. Again, exhale to flex the spine, to curve. Inhale to lengthen, pulling the sternum forwards. You can do as many as you like. And again, a good way just to try and extend your upper spine without having to come down onto the mat. And then from here you can either release the arms and hinge back up to standing, or if you want to release, flex and roll all the way back up to the vertical. Good, so to finish up, let's root into the tripods of the feet. I'm just going to move the chair over so you can see me. We're going to root into the tripods of the feet again, loading nice and evenly, right and left leg, lengthen, front line stretches subtly, pubic bone drops down. Keep the kidney space inflated so you're not tipping the rib cage back and the shoulders wide. And then just breathe into the pelvis, up the front of your spine, into your back space. And exhale. And I'm going to invite you to breathe in and lift your heels into your back space. Exhale to lower. And again, breathing in. Really focus on the back space, it will help with your balance. And as you breathe out, the heels drop down, and imagine your spine gets longer. You increase the space between your vertebrae. Inhale, float, exhale, keep the length, keep the suspension as your heels drop down. And again, lifting up. Doesn't matter how high you lift your heels. Lowering, last time. We're going to lift the heels up. We're going to take the arms up this time, breathing in. See if you can keep your heels lifted as you lower the arms all the way down. And then lower the heels. Bring the hands together in front of your heart space. In breath, reach up. Open, exhale to finish. So thank you for watching. Keep moving. Stay relaxed, keep breathing deeply, and I shall see you hopefully soon. Take care, bye-bye.